these are the patterns. After studying these things for decades, they're consistently negative. You know, that's their most consistent trait. They're derogatory, they're insulting, they're abusive, they're destructive. You know, they may come across at first to be like, oh, we're helpers. We have special powers. Listen to us, we can help you with stuff. Once they get their hooks in somebody, then they turn on them. They're anti-religious. They want nothing to do with the Bible. They want nothing to do with Christianity.
I wasn't raised Christian. I never went to church. I just kind of came to that conclusion because I used the name of Jesus to defend myself, and it worked. That was my.
Yeah, they don't like that.
That was my proof. There's something to this, and that's what led me down there. So, I mean, have you heard similar stories around that line?
Oh yeah. One of the first things I realized. One of the first patterns where they were anti-religious, and I had decades ago when I was working at the state hospital, I had patients tell me that when they repeated the 23rd Psalm, the voices reacted like worms thrown on a hot frying pan. And it wasn't just one that said something like that. Numbers of them did. They don't like the 23rd Psalm. They don't like Psalm 91. They don't like the person going to church. They don't like them reading the Bible. They don't like them taking part in any kind of positive religion at all. I think one of the most consistent causes across all these is trauma. Severe sexual, emotional, or physical trauma opens them up to these things. Also drugs and meth is one of the worst. Meth opens meth abusers up to these things, just like inviting them in.
Yeah,
I've seen more prisoners go psychotic on meth than on any other drug. The prisoners called it the devil's drug. These things, they are entities. Some of them are just lost souls that have attached to individuals and haven't moved on. Others are these demonic entities that are trying to destroy the person. They badger the person until their emotional state is completely negative, and then they energetically drain them. You don't need a big lab to see these things. Anybody who's working with schizophrenics, any family member who has a schizophrenic in their family can see this stuff for themselves. If the voices are running fixed, consistent, predictable patterns, they can't be hallucinations, because hallucinations don't run fixed, consistent patterns. You can't ignore them because they get louder. So one of the things psychiatry say, oh, they're just hallucinations, just ignore them, they're not real. They're very real. It's one of the most common and useful is That's a Lie program. Every time that anybody hears a negative thought about themselves, just repeat, that's a lie. That's a lie. If you don't buy into it, if you don't believe it, they can't control you. If you believe it, they can control you. Now, other ways is to actually address the entity personally. Say, what are you doing here? What's your purpose? What are you doing to this person? And actually walk them back into the light. Once they disappear into the light, they're gone forever. They don't come back. But if the person doesn't change their vibration, if they don't seal themselves off from these things and start moving down a positive spiritual path, they'll be back. It's like the Bible said, you can clean the house, but if you don't fill it with good stuff, they'll come back with minions more. And I've seen that happen over and over again.